Radio. We are not financial advisors. The content on this podcast and any YouTube videos are for educational and entertainment purposes only. The views and opinions of advertisers, sponsors, and guests do not constitute those of WLRS Radio or constitute financial advice. We urge you to make the best financial decision that suits your needs. Conduct your own research and seek the advice of a licensed financial advisor when needed. Know that all investments involve some form of risk, and there is no guarantee that you will be successful with your investments. There is no guarantee that you won't experience significant loss when investing. Now, come take a ride with David, Dylan, and Austin into the Wild West that is cryptocurrency and DeFi. Which, you'll talk to a stock guy, and they'll be like, that's the most ridiculous, degenerate thing. And you're like, you don't even know where I've been.
It looks like a third grader got into Blender and made these NFTs.
It's out of the way now. If there's any CEOs you want to tell them to fuck off or anything.
Let me think. This week, no.
Oh, welcome back to the weekly DeFi show on WLRS Crypto Radio. We're back once again to talk this week's top DeFi stories. I'm David, and I'm joined once again by the ineffable, the irresponsible, and the irrefutable top two co-hosts of all time across all categories, Austin and Dylan. We're going to run down a whole bunch of good stuff this week, with the star of the show being AVAX itself. We reached out to the token, and it didn't get back to us. So, but we're still going to talk about it.
We reached out to AVAX blockchain for a comment.
Yeah, we sent an email to their contract address, and nothing. Ghosted us.
Nothing. Scammers. Maybe next time.
No, we'll try and get someone on here at some point eventually. How's your week?
It's been good. It's been very green this week. I've very much enjoyed everything happening in the news lately.
Yeah, it's been a great time to be a red maxi on the red pill.
Yes,
AVAX, the triangle, sitting on top of the Triangle Mountain. I've been saying it for quite some time, and I was gonna die on that hill regardless of what happened to Avalanche. So it's a bit of luck. I'll be honest with you.
What are you doing with your microphone?
Oh, I just like moving it.
He's up in there.
People always complain.
Everybody's talking about.
But everybody always complains that they can't hear me, so I figured if I talk directly into it like it's intended.
No, when we can't hear you, it's because your audio is completely gone for some reason.
Yeah, that's cat.
I really appreciate that you guys go out of your way each and every week to make editing the audio a complete nightmare.
All you gotta do is put the DBs together. It's called the DB Together plugin.
Yeah.
If you don't know what that is, Dylan, DBs is the decibels.
Decibels, okay.
Yeah, there's a compressor tool you can use to get everything in the same range, but it's still but then if you do it too much, if you have to jack it up too much, it sounds all weird.
Yeah, you fuck with the
It doesn't have that high quality audio output that we're looking for.
Well, outside, my vaping incidents, I should be. Does this mic come through all right?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
I was gonna say I paid way too much for it. If it's not, I will send this back.
You know what else this thing has? If nobody disconnects and reconnects, I can download everybody's audio as a separate channel, which would be
that's actually nice.
Nice. So don't disconnect. I was gonna do it with Madrid last week.
Historically, Dave, you're the one that disconnects, not us.
Yeah, you're right. But last week, Madrid disconnected 3 times. So it downloaded 7 tracks. I was not going to do it. If there's some intern out there listening that wants to do it.
We don't pay.
I can pay you. It's just not going to be a lot.
And really, no work experience gained. You won't be doing much.
You'll get all the work experience, tons of exposure. I mean,
we can bring you on the show and bully you though.
Dave, yeah, I would like to talk to someone that's not there, and they just say some shit, and then we're like, hey, look this up, and then we share their screen sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, not
Jamie,
someone
Jamie,
podcast.
pull that up, Jamie.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
like,
we need
pull
a
that, like,
Jamie.
Joe Rogan will be like, hey, pull that shit up, and then he's like, look, and then we'll look at it and be like, okay, see there, and I'll be like, pause it, you right? Also, Dave, I'm a little upset with how big the show sponsor is. It is going right in my. It's right on. Look at that, right on my hand, dude.
All right, your
What
hand's
kinda-
messed up here. Okay.
He
Thank
he
You
put
happy?
you beside it because with all that, what did your fiance say? All that real estate on your head.
No one
Man,
wants to
she
see your
got
rock
me-
band drums. Ugh. Put it
I'm
back
actually
down.
one listen, let me tell you, Nita actually got me a beautiful art piece to hang behind me that will be coming up soon. It's a cyberpunk, wide shot, Tokyo City.
I think Disco Chuck just volunteered to be Jamie in chat. I'm not.
How's the sound?
My comprehension isn't the best, but that's what it looks like to me. He says, "Need a sweet young Jamie for sure." You could be our
Oh, he
Jamie.
thinks Jamie. He thinks Jamie is female. No, Jamie is male. As far as I know,
there'd be no women that would work with us here.
yeah, no, we be nice, but we would scare them off pretty quickly.
But it would be nice, though, inclusivity and all that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll take it.
Like anyone, as long as we can call you Jamie.
Do you have the
Yeah.
demographics pulled up from Spotify? What's our male to female ratio there?
Not good. I mean, it's probably in line with crypto in general. Let me get
Well,
it.
I have a supportive fiance that has been watching our podcast.
Yeah,
So
we
I
listen
can't
to it in the
bully her.
car, and my daughter called me out on how much I used the F word in the last couple episodes.
why would you let your daughter listen to the show?
Because we listen to it in the car. She knows. She knows she can't say it.
That's good, man.
Let me see. Let me get you some analytics here on our demographic data.
There's nothing funnier to me than a child that just says "fuck." Like it
Oh,
cracks
she
me
would
up.
never, dude. She would never say that. She would be in
Or, like
timeout.
when they don't know any better. Like not
Oh,
to
yeah.
be like, yeah. I think that is one of the funniest things in the world.
The scary thing is when they use it correctly.
Yes.
They're like just right on point, tempo, like everything, pitch. Like, ugh. All right, so I got the numbers here. This is Spotify listeners. 86.2% male, 13.8% female, and 0%
Hello.
in non-binary and non-specified.
We gotta pump those numbers up.
And 0% in the 18 to 22 category. So we don't have any kid crypto people in here.
That's a shame.
But they don't have my daughter's data because it was on my wife's Amazon account.
Also fair.
So we should have some percentage of 0 to 17 listeners that are unrepresented in the data. But now the bulk of our age group is 35 to 44, with the second and third highest filling out the 28 to 59 range.
Damn.
I always think, man, how are we gonna start the show off? And every time we talk about some absolute bullshit, and we have
Some
some
random.
banter.
Tampa's 20. Do you listen on Spotify, Tampa? And does Spotify know your real age?
How is our Spotify numbers now that we took a hiatus?
Oh, I mean, so it's hard to judge because we also went to Twitch, right? So people who listen to Twitch
Right.
may have stopped listening on Spotify. But we still do have a fairly regular stream of listeners on the weekly. But it is not as high as before we started Twitch. But like adding up everything with the YouTube and the Twitch and the podcast stuff, we get a pretty good clip.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
All right.
See, I could talk my way out of a board meeting. Be like, the numbers are shit, but look at this. If you think about it like this, they're not as shit. But no, we have good numbers. I like the numbers. I'd like them to be higher, but that just comes with time and effort. Appreciate all the listeners out there.
Straight up.
What I appreciate? I appreciate protocols out there who build relevant use cases to their tokens. Places like Warfi, who is a sponsor of the show. They create NFT soldiers that you can print out rewards backed by their revenue from their P2E game. And they do a variety of other things, such as tell us more. Tell me you're doing a live read without telling me you're doing a live read. They have war bots, which are NFTs, which you can buy, which go into trading bot investments, and those rewards are paid out regularly. And the war bots are released in limited numbers. You can find out more about them at warfi.games. And another great sponsor of the show is Vinium. You can unleash your capital at vinium.finance. They're a borrowing and lending platform which allow you to, like most borrowing and lending platforms, lend out and borrow crypto tokens to either collect interest or pay interest on the debt you take out. But they do have quite a few other kinks in the system that make it unique. They're going to be bringing NFT borrowing and lending to the table. And they also just released some isolated borrowing pools so you can borrow against some high-risk assets without screwing up the rest of your borrowing portfolio. So you can check them out at vinium.finance.
We love Vinium. Another AVAX protocol, FYI.
Mm-hmm.
Vinium!
That's right. And if you ever wanted to look, we have a little corner with their information right there. I'll put Austin down there. So everyone's looking at his baby water. You go on the bottom.
I was just checking. My baby water's empty. I drank a half gallon. If you guys didn't know, your boy's back in the gym getting swelled up. The goal is to be an upside down pyramid and need help walking through doors. So if you see me having trouble reaching my back, don't ask. Because I'm
How was your butt cheeks today?
Oh, my butt
Tampa
cheeks
dropped a Subaroni.
Thank you, Tampa. Tampa and Disco Chuck, man. They're some ride or die guys. I love them.
Yeah, an upside down glacier. If you could
Reverse glacier. It's a hot glacier. It's a bunch of baby water.
Just baby water all over me.
Yeah. When did I talk about this? It was one of our October shows. I talked about the fattening, right? And that was the point between Halloween and New Year's, where it's just nonstop garbage food. That's over, right? So it's back to the gym. You got to get that baby water in you. You got to protein drinks for breakfast.
Yeah, actually, I have been. I've been eating eggs and protein shakes, and when I go, you can ask Dylan. I mean, I get swelled up pretty fast. Even Dylan signed up today. He's gonna be going.
I did sign up today.
I feel like getting swelled up is something you go to the doctor for.
I want to look like my arms just got hit by 15 bees at once.
I just want to be healthy. I don't give a shit about muscle.
Yeah, me either.
Do you get your baby water straight from the glacier? Do you like run up there?
Yeah.
You hold it under like a little stream of melting.
Like one of those taps that you use for like sap, but I do it on the glacier, and that's how I get healthy.
Sugar season's coming up.
Sugar?
Valentine's Day.
No. That's when you run the maple. That's
comedy.
That's when you tap the maple trees and you get the sap out. It's like the end of winter, but before spring. Otherwise, it's bitter.
That's really good to know, Dave.
And you'll fuck up the trees.
Have you tapped that sap before, Dave?
No, I always want to, but like I don't have enough land with maple trees on it. I have like a single tiny maple tree.
Two wars.
I get out with my measuring tape every year. I'm like, nope, there's not enough girth on that maple tree.
It's not girthy enough to tap that.
Yeah.
You can't talk about sap unless.
And
you're
then I
talking
forget about it.
bugs.
Like I have friends and they're like, I got a ton of maple trees. And I'm like, we should do it this year. And I never do it. He doesn't hug trees per se. I did some t-shirt designs for a very Irish American guy. And he wanted me, this was my first ever design client. I was still wrapping up college. And he was like, you got to imagine like the thickest Irish accent, like you can barely understand what he's saying. And then when you add like a 2008 cell phone reception over it. But yeah, he wanted an inappropriate saying with an inappropriate drawing of a tree. I guess over there they say "hug my root," which is like it's a phallic intimacy reference.
Dave over here talking. He's watching the words now because he knows his daughter might be watching. He doesn't want the
She's
internet
not
to
watching
know.
this one. She's not gonna watch this one.
Well, that's good.
No, but he wanted that, and he wanted the tree and this roots system to look like, you can imagine. I don't
You're
know
gonna
how
have to
many
post
shirts
that.
he sold.
You're gonna have to post that on the
That's
Twitter.
gone. I don't have that anymore.
Remake it. You don't do
Remake it.
nothing.
I'm not remaking it.
Just copy paste it.
Copy paste. Can't you just get it?
Can you just make it, Dave?
Hey guys, I gotta tap the glacier and refill this glacier water, this baby water. Give
All
me,
right.
like 2 minutes. Get into the
2
first
minutes.
topic. Do
I'll
not go through the real or fake coins while I'm gone.
I haven't
Dave
made
make
real
them?
or fake coins, so maybe I'll because we were so we don't have a guest. I feel like
That's true. That's more reserved for guests. Dave,
Yeah.
you never told us what you got for Christmas.
What did I get I got a watch for Christmas.
Fantastic. Love that. Big
so I
watch
can
guy.
keep track of time. It's analog, not digital. Classic.
I always do analog. I don't wear digital watches.
Mm-hmm. Do it now, Beastmaster. Hello, Beastmaster. Is this your first time in chat? Welcome to chat.
This is what Austin got me for Christmas. Isn't
Nice.
that dope?
Does that work? Can you plug that into your Game Boy?
Unfortunately,
Game Boy for
no.
grandpas?
Unfortunately, no. But he also
It's like shatters.
don't tell him I did that.
It
Don't
like
tell him I did that.
shatters into a million pieces.
He also made me this not too long ago, which coincidentally is what I've been playing.
Ooh, I found my Game Boy Color and my Pokemon
And it's
Gold.
modded.
It's modded. Does it have more light behind it? Is that the mod?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah.
And
See, it needs
charges
that
with a USB-C.
because after playing like Switch and stuff,
Right.
like,
Oh my God. We're
I
spoiled.
played a OG Game Boy Color and I was like, it still works, still turns on, but God, how did I play?
We didn't know better.
You need like the sun to like sun level brightness in the room.
Well,
to
we
be able to
had
play Game
those.
Boy.
We had those things you plugged in up top that drained your battery 3 times as fast. I know.
Oh
I dropped
yeah,
one
the
of
little
those
lights,
games.
little book lights.
Hell yeah. Oh no. There it is. All right.
All right, boys.
I see Mr. Baby Water coming back. There's no dead air in sight. We did it.
Got that baby water, boys.
I was showing off the Pokemon Red.
I also got some.
All right.
I got some guitar stuff and bass guitar stuff. New amplifier, some new strings, a new bridge.
Hot and cold.
Christmas gifts.
Christmas gifts.
What'd you get, Austin? Now that we've all shared.
Are you wearing them?
I got a.
You got a
supply.
FedEx shirt?
Yeah, I got a power supply. And that was it. I think.
And that was it. How many CCs or whatever the hell they're rated in?
Oh,
Watts.
Dylan got me some loafers, which is good because that's like all I wear.
That's all Austin wears is like cozy loafer things.
Oh, you know what? My wife got these really strange slippers that look like a bunch of foam golf balls, like hot glued together. And I came home from work one day and I was like, what the hell are those? I got my own pair.
Actually, as the
And
cool
she's like,
kids
they're the
say,
most comfortable thing, right?
the cool kids say, "What are those?"
What are those? Look at these.
The cool kids don't say that.
My God.
Look
What
at these.
are those?
Yeah, that's what I said. But
Oh my
dude,
God.
it
I'll
is
wear
like
some scandalous shoes, but that's scandalous.
it is like you are walking on a cloud. Like when you get out of them, dude, it like hurts your feet to walk on bare earth. Like
Comfort over
my
style.
divine tootsies are
Divine tootsies.
not made for the floor. They're made for those slippers. Oh my God. You can
All right,
sponsor them. Yeah,
You guys ready to get into the meat and potatoes of this one?
I'm ready for some meat and potatoes.
Austin, do you want to do the honors of announcing the AVAX show and what drew you to AVAX originally? How did you turn me into an AVAX maxi and all
Listen,
that?
Listen, let me talk into this microphone. So I've not been shy about it. I've always been a supporter of the red triangle coin. There's a couple of reasons that I've done that. Early on, I got into DeFi. I was a bit biased because it was my first experience with DeFi. And the reason that I chose AVAX is because I saw Wonderland Time on a video. And obviously, I've since expanded my knowledge in DeFi, but AVAX always stuck with me because transactions were so clean. And prior to that, it was Polygon. And Polygon was so much longer for transactions. There was so much to it that wasn't like AVAX. And AVAX just worked, right? Like anybody that I brought into DeFi, I took to AVAX first, and they understood why I enjoyed it so much. Because like on a user experience level, AVAX, in my opinion, takes the cake. Now, obviously, this was before Phantom came around. Of course, Phantom has similar transactions per second, but where AVAX, I think, strives to go for and what it does for user experience is that if you care anything at all about DeFi and kind of its like where it comes from being decentralized, like AVAX is it. It has 1,200 validators. It has like 400 independent contracts launched on it. It is a fully decentralized chain. Not one person can shut it off. Arbitrum can be shut off today. There's like 3 validators. BSC can be shut off today. It has 0 validators. Well, I'm sure it has some validators, but they're all owned by Binance. Ethereum is being killed by the government right now. It's being looked at by the government pretty hard. And also they just went proof of stake, so they're a little bit behind on that. And a lot of people are moving past Ethereum because transactions per second and their blockchain size and everything is miles behind what other proof of stake currencies can offer. So really, if you're looking to build in DeFi, it's really the one-stop shop. And this is not even talking about subnets and the future with all these partnerships that they've started developing. We saw it a lot with Polygon, where I was a little bit jealous. I was a little bit jealous of Polygon for getting all these massive partnerships, and I felt like they didn't have the infrastructure or user experience to compensate any kind of meaningful developments on it. And then now I see that Avalanche has been working this entire time. They built it out heavily. And they've really done an amazing job. And I think 2023, people are going to stop sleeping on Avalanche and being like, oh, the bear market, it's never going to come back up and blah, blah, blah. Fuck you at this point. I think that Avalanche really does have a huge future in blockchain technology, and I think that they'll be one of the leaders in some of the tech that we see, and they'll be what shapes some of the future of how we interact with blockchains, some of the simplicities, and I think that they're going to be able to bring in governments and other people with these subnets that want to build, corporations that want to build infrastructures around their own internals. And we'll speak a little bit more with this AWS partnership and kind of what it entails. But it is an amazing chain. The communities, a lot of times people say, oh, the communities are great, and the blockchain, and really nobody's a maxi, right? Everybody that's in DeFi right now is looking for money. They're pretty agnostic on the chain they choose. But I really do feel like building communities in Avalanche is a little bit different. If people that come from Avalanche and looking to build on it, do it a little bit different. And so all in all, it's my favorite chain. I support it heavily. I've recently been in contact with the Ava Labs team. They understand my diehard attitude towards Avalanche. And eventually you do have to pick a hill to die on here in this industry, unless you want to just try and be a business mogul and build on every chain, and that's cool, or build your own blockchain. which is kind of the meta right now for some of the bigger projects. But I'm just fine building on the tech that these individuals that made Avalanche built on, and using the tech.
And before we get too deep into this, Austin actually touched on something about being jealous of Polygon. And, after the last couple days, just on crypto Twitter and spaces where people talk about crypto and stuff, there's a lot of upset people about the Amazon thing because they feel like whatever chain that they're the most bullish on or their favorite chain or, should have landed that partnership, which is fine to feel. But we have to look at it from an even further outside perspective right now where Web3 is being adopted. The Amazon partnership is huge for Web3 in general. They chose AVAX, but they could have just as easily chosen another company. And as AVAX Maxis, we would have been excited about that just because that shows that what we're doing matters, what we're talking about matters, and that we're early. Amazon just now hopping on the train is a big deal.
Being in before Amazon. That's
yeah.
And
also,
like AWS is even
Go ahead.
AWS is even bigger than basically, Amazon, right? You just hear Amazon,
yes.
you think the shopping thing, but the web services platform is huge for them.
It's absolutely massive.
Everything.
It's what 90% of people use to have any kind of server online. And I think a lot of people don't even understand, like a lot of the stuff that's getting bought on Avalanche and why it's going up isn't because people believe in Avalanche, but they heard bullish news and they bought it. But really, if you look at what it actually is, AWS coming on is a validation for me personally, and how I view Avalanche is that they understand that they have the infrastructure to handle the throughput, the actual amount of usage that AWS sees. They said, I think Avalanche, out of all of these other millions of chains, I'm sure there's not millions, but you get my point, that all of these other chains can't do it as well, right? And what does that mean for Avalanche as far as, like, if you're a user that holds the currency, is that, this AWS service, it's going to be a lot of burnt AVAX. It's going to be a lot of networked usage, and that's massive for the AVAX token, because we obviously, burning it is great. A reduction of Avalanche means that every Avalanche token has more intrinsic value, and so not necessarily just on the side of it's really great to have Amazon on board with the with the chain that I love so much. It's more of an infrastructure side that I'm glad that they picked it, but also it's going to give a lot of use case to the network itself and show validity to other big infrastructure companies that want to come on and use blockchain technology. And if Amazon trusts it, why shouldn't you?
Well, right. I think we'll see more this week on other or not just this week, but this month. They have a whole slate of announcements to come.
They made an event, so they spent however long they spent loading up a bunch of partnerships, and then they're announcing them
all in one. Well, they're saying this month, but yeah, the next couple of weeks are going to be huge for AVAX in general. So
someone in the chat said, do you think this will impact validators? If I had to guess, not necessarily until it's fully implemented, which could take upwards of a year. But if I could imagine, validators are getting a piece of the fee from transaction fees, it should only go up necessarily. With more network usage, the yield from these validators only goes up. So in a good way, I could see it applying. Obviously, I don't know that for certain, but just on a speculation aspect, it would seem that would be the best case.
Yeah. And jumping back a bit, I did some quick Google search research, and AWS services over 150 companies, with those top companies in that top 150 all being in the $1 billion revenue bucket. So these are huge companies. You're talking like Disney, Sony, Unilever, Pfizer, like crazy huge companies, right? So if they want to implement blockchain, they're going to do it through AWS because AWS offers their other cloud computing solutions. So it's just it's big, and it might not
the
be
NFL
big.
Next Gen Stats.
Next Gen Stats. That's right. I'm gonna steal it. I'm gonna steal that like little GIF. Anyway, it's big, but it might not hit like those actual volume onto AVAX might not hit for some time. But when it does, it's gonna be through AVAX. Like how we had like a month and a half ago. Who was that? Was it JP Morgan that was doing Polygon stuff? I mean, boom, 30%, in a day.
It happens that fast. I mean, we saw it this week. The Amazon announcement came out and we pumped from like what, $11 to $16.
Yes,
So
it highly screwed up my Trader Joe V2 pool, which was AVAX and USDC. it's now just USDC, which is fine. I mean, but I also have a ton of staked AVAX, which got the boost.
all right. So as far as partnerships announcements, they started off the year with Alibaba. We touched on this a little bit on one of the previous shows, but Alibaba is the Amazon of everywhere that doesn't use Amazon naturally, like America or Europe. They also have a web service that could be comparable to Amazon Web Service. So not only are we now in Amazon Web Service, but we're on Alibaba's cloud program, which is huge.
Yeah, Alibaba's huge. It's difficult to understand the integration that we have from Web 2 to Web 3 when these companies offer partnerships. Even I have some there's some question marks in like how exactly are these implemented, these partnerships. I mean, and like you said in this, it says, that realistically Avalanche partnerships with Alibaba, and then Avalanche's public blockchain platform. In Asia, the integration will allow Avalanche developers to use Alibaba's cloud plug-and-play infrastructure as a service to launch new validators. To me, on the outside, it looks as though it's just giving grander access to become a validator on Avalanche via like other services like AWS and Alibaba. But I assume that that's just face value, these partnerships and some of the Web3 tech that Avalanche is able to offer. It's going to be a bit bigger than some of these things where you're just able to purchase, public nodes. And these public nodes are pretty much just infrastructure on the Web3 chain, similar to like servers are for AWS for Web2, where they just host all your stuff. So if I had to guess, that's what these partnerships are, face value.
Yeah. And we didn't have a macro show sort of in time to talk about this, but we had that crypto bill in the House, which is a bit of a mess. And some of these like big company partnerships, they have the pocketbooks to help influence positive crypto legislation, right? Whereas as you and I don't. I can't call up Elizabeth Warren and be like, hey, let me buy you lunch. We'll go to Applebee's. We got to talk,
We'll take her to Applebee's. Golly.
Take her to 99 at least.
At least take her to Chili's
Olive Garden.
Olive Garden.
Some
There you
Italiano. With the
breadsticks
breadsticks and the salad.
It's great to know the people that have paid zero taxes for a very long time are going to be.
What are you going to do?
The people,
of course.
They're going to be the people paying the same lobbyists to talk about crypto in a way that would benefit them. But obviously, this is a little bit past like crypto as far as like trading crypto. This is using the infrastructure of Web3 rather than using like decentralized financing platforms. But it's a step in the right direction, and it means that we have people that are vetting Web3, and that's good. It can't be bad to get more eyes on it.
Yeah, like when you hear the OG crypto maxis, talk about the tech and, they say blockchain a lot. Like this is what they're talking about. It's not a bonk token with 800% fucking gain in a day. They're not talking about that. This is what they want. This is it, Yeah,
it's the infrastructure that allows you to use decentralized finance. It's the same infrastructure that hosts trading one currency to the next or launching these smart contracts. It's that same infrastructure that they're leveraging for these big companies to use. and it's much more efficient than the Web 2 way currently. And that's what we're kind of opening our eyes to with these companies coming on board.
And I do have a quote here from Amen, the founder of AVAX. He says, in the past, other chains have paid AWS to host some nodes and has pitched this as AWS partners with some chain. In reality, some chain was paying AWS. They were a client of AWS. There was no meaningful partnership. This announcement is the exact opposite. AWS recognizes how blockchains are evolving, with subnets serving as app chains, and want to be one of the hosting providers for many subnets that people are about to launch. To this end, they will be contributing substantial amounts of AWS credits to projects looking to deploy subnets on AVAX. They, along with Alibaba, understand where the blockchain tech is going, and they want to partner with the one chain that is delivering the vision. Howard Wright of AWS says, when you multiply Activate times Avalanche times Subnet, you have something that's a seminal moment. I think blockchain technology will become a commonplace and used in our marketplace by developers. And then we had some bozo reply immediately under it, say, okay, cool. How much did you pay for it? And Amin responded immediately and said that this is a foundational partnership. We paid $0. Cheers. Like a fucking Chad.
What
Disco
a fucking
did some
branding
research.
comment.
Disco did some valuable research. He's dropped it in chat. How great is it that the CEO of AVAX has a Twitter handle, Elite Haxor? That's
pretty good.
EL33THAX0R. That dude played Halo.
100%.
And I think one of the things that's kind of just dropped in there is he's talking about apps being developed on different subnets that can communicate through interpolation. And that's offered now through the new service, the AVAX Warp Messaging, that they just released, where subnets can communicate with other subnets. And realistically, what you're seeing is a full transition from a Web3 or a Web 2 platform to a Web 3, where servers are communicating with information of users, where now subnets can individually interact and host user information and still be able to connect with different apps and services. That's absolutely fantastic because it's verified on blockchain, right? These things that aren't done and everything in the back door of Web 2 is kind of out in the open for everybody to understand the throughput, the transactions per second. All of it is hosted right there live on the chain, all while being powered by Avalanche and the token and burning it. It's a beautiful thing, and so I'm super excited about it.
And that was just the most recent one. Just a couple days ago, Avalanche announced another partnership, this time with Shopify. Using the Vinly Shopify merchant app, retailers can sell NFTs with minimal technical knowledge. According to a press release, NFTs created by merchants are automatically turned into products that can be displayed and purchased on their storefronts. In addition, buyers are not required to have an existing crypto wallet and instead will receive an email with a link to a newly created blockchain wallet. The integration makes it easy to navigate Avalanche NFT sales from initial design all the way through final distribution.
I wonder if we can host a Shopify site for Walrus Anglers Club.
I don't see why not. It's already, all the infrastructure's there.
I've got some big merch plans. I haven't unveiled them yet, but they're
Is it
pretty
more
big.
dick trees?
Maybe.
It's dick trees. My man's
dick.
gonna make a whole suite of dick trees.
You dirty dog.
It's not dick trees. No, but I think it's gonna be good. And I was gonna use Shopify for that.
Not through the partnership just announced.
The NFT is not NFT related. I mean, I don't know. I'll look into it, but it's not really. I mean, I should do it. I should do that as well, but
fuck it. Why not?
Like, fuck it. Send it.
Fuck it. Fucking send it.
But no, I got big merch. I got a big merch plan. I just don't have time to do it yet. I got so much going on. I'm a busy man. You know, I've been playing that Elden Ring.
Again?
I don't got time to be productive. I ain't beat it yet. It takes a long time. It's hard. My wife is very frustrated that I'm playing it because I take up all the TV time.
What Destiny did to
which
me.
is a fair argument. TOG, you want to talk about TOG?
TOG, another partnership announcement just this week. TOG is a Turkish electric vehicle automaker, probably like the Turkish Tesla, I guess you could say. But TOG had an interesting partnership announcement this week at CES Las Vegas, the Customer Electronics Show. They've been exploring use cases around blockchain and related technologies in electric vehicles for more than a year. With AVALab's partnership, TOG intends to infuse Internet of Things and machine-to-machine communication to expand and accelerate its EV capabilities. TOG will implement smart contracts and blockchain technology so users can pick up a reserved scooter or taxi while charging their EVs, enabling seamless mobility. And then, moreover, AVALabs' partnership will allow TOG to store vehicle maintenance and parts information over the Avalanche blockchain, which will be foundational to a reliable second-hand market. This is ingenious. This is something I think we've actually talked about something similar to this in the past about like the power of NFTs and what use cases it could have in the real world.
Yes.
This is ingenious.
Decentralized, right? So
Right.
even if TOG's server, wherever it is, it explodes and the backup room, melts, all that information is stored on the blockchain. So you'd have to talk about, like Austin said, how many validators? They'd all have to, shut down all over the planet for them to lose that information.
That's another aspect that I hadn't even touched on, is that these servers that Web 2 currently has is all centralized and
The
managed.
Tartan Prancer, sorry, Disco in chat, dude. The Vacation remake, dude. I thought I was the only person on the planet who had seen that film. The freaking Tartan Prancer, dude. It's hilarious. Go watch the Vacation remake if you haven't. Anyway.
Jesus Christ, that is an odd looking. But yeah, so it's like these Web 2 servers. These Web 2 servers can go down if there's a centralization issue where they don't pay their bill to maybe AWS or whatever else. Think about that there's so much that you can lose, and data that can be like your user data can be stored on chain and obfuscated so that you can't view it. And now it has to be penetrated by hacking into over 1,200 validators, whereas in Web 2 there are so many times that infrastructure is hacked. Web 2 goes down consistently. There's so many points of failure in Web 2, and Web 3 has fixed a lot of those issues. So places like these car manufacturers doing Internet of Things, which if you're not familiar with, places like helium miners use Internet of Things. It's things like small, like dog collars, or really obscure technology that connects to this huge mesh of internet that's completely free of use. But yeah, it's really cool.
Did you know also I can click on chat things and put them up on the video?
I did not.
Well, I just did it. And I accidentally put Disco's like weird Tartan Prancer link on. But that's a fun feature that we'll be adding, so we can get active chatters rewarded for their hard chatting work. It's a lot of carpal tunnel risk.
I was trying to look at.
Rewarded.
I was trying to look at a couple. I read a couple other things as far as TOG goes that I was really interested in. The vehicle maintenance thing is ingenious. Imagine buying a car that you know for a fact via the blockchain that it's been maintained, that it's not been in an accident. It's Carfax on the blockchain.
Right. And you don't have the
centralization
of Carfax. You can just look it up.
Well, you're not dependent on somebody not being a piece of shit. I mean, I've bought plenty of cars in my life, and it's always something I'm worried about is somebody not reporting an accident, somebody, backing into a mailbox and just patching it up, or, taking it to Joe Bob. We're in Kentucky, so it's always a mechanic named Joe Bob.
Everybody's their own mechanic up here.
Exactly.
And probably in Kentucky.
Yes, there's a lot of backyard mechanics. All you need is
that sticker on it. I mean, which is fine,
Right.
It would be great if owners, even who do their own work, could report that onto the NFT. Hey, I did the oil. right? Because Carfax is only going to show the oil changes if you bring it to a shop, right?
Correct.
So if you do your own oil, which is not that hard to do, you look up the Carfax, it's not going to show the DIY oil changes, but it could be possible that you log that yourself with a contract.
So I'm really excited about this. With
But then again, electric
Elon's
vehicles also don't do oil changes. But
fair, but they still need maintenance. I'm excited about this one almost as much as I am about AWS because it kind of shows off out of the box thinking as far as where Web3 can be implemented. I mean, you don't normally think cars and DeFi or, the technology that AVAX has built is just shining through in partnerships like that. So we've got another announcement coming soon. They keep teasing it's a T name. I doubt it's Tesla, but Jesus
Any
Christ,
bets?
could you
Chat?
fucking imagine?
It's got to start with a T.
I was between Tesla and Toyota. I mean, either one of those would be gigantic, but it
Do
could
you think
be.
is it car related?
It doesn't have to be. No, it just starts with a T. Is all they're giving away. Toyota would be massive. Tampa
Tartan Prancer. He's still on
could
it.
also be the Tartan Prancer. So I don't know. Stay tuned this week to the WLRS Crypto Radio for more AVAX
We'll probably
news.
tweet it out. Dylan, I probably just got to give you the tweet powers.
I be tweeting, man. I've been doing a lot of shit posting.
That's what we do here on WLRS Radio, especially the Twitter. Target.
Ooh, that's a good one, ain't it? It's got the right
like
color
you
scheme.
do something
That's
you're
how
not
you turn
thinking.
every woman in America into an AVAX maxi.
God damn.
And
right.
it's red. Come on.
I don't know.
It's the color scheme's there. They don't even have to change anything. Tampa can't keep up with my shit. I be shit posting, bro.
You're gonna have to write a bot to retweet the shit posts.
I like bothering people.
You got to get the impressions up. No one's gonna see unless you got those impressions.
Tampa sent one in the other day. I responded to Unusual Whales on Twitter. They posted some off the wall fucking tweet about banks ditching crypto. I said, "Do you have like a list or anything?" This motherfucker sent me a article from Barron's about a failing bank that had to sell some Bitcoin.
Oh, I did hear about that.
Yeah,
Metropolitan Bank.
I got like 27,000 impressions on that though.
Metropolitan Bank.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the only one.
Yeah, that's it. But banks are, selling crypto according to Barron, which I mean, that one bank did. Somebody said it had the liquidity of a shit coin. I was cracking up. All right. Final thoughts on AVAX. I had a question or.
Well, he kind of already talked on that.
But the decentralization?
Yeah. We do have the BTCB, which is the AVAX, I believe. The AVAX local Bitcoin had a record high creation
yes.
on Avalanche.
There's a new Bitcoin
started,
in
I
town.
think, in summer of last year. And BTCB created on Avalanche reached an all-time high during this bear market, which it was still the bear market last summer, but it was definitely still popping. There was still a ton of volume back in July when this launched. And to beat it when there's like nothing going on, it's pretty impressive.
And this comes from Luigi, the head of DeFi at AVAX. Super nice guy. Got a Pikachu Twitter handle. I love that.
He's the guy who tweeted that?
Yeah, Luigi.
I did want to talk about decentralization. I know I made some claims, and I just want to back them up with actual facts. So I went through and found out how many validators each big chain has. Just in comparison, each validator in proof of stake is pretty much like a computer working towards decentralizing the network a little bit more by accessing the certain type of currency, being AVAX in this case. And then all of the work is done behind that, and there's a lot of technology that goes behind it. I'm simplifying it super hard, But realistically, higher the validator, the more decentralized the network is, as there is less opportunity of someone getting over 50% of the validators, less opportunity of attacks, and less opportunity of a massive amount of them going offline. So the more validators, the better. We're going to start with the top dog being Ethereum, which has 426,000 active validators, which is massive, right? But again, in comparison, if we're just talking about validators, of course, Ethereum is the king. It is the birthplace of DeFi. You got to look at the TPS when you're comparing it to AVAX and how much slower it is, how much more expensive it is to use, and the mechanics behind Ethereum. So Ethereum, of course, top dog. Let's talk about BSC. Has 21 validators, and I can promise you most of those are owned. Oh, I didn't even look at Solana, but we can talk about Solana having 4. BSC has 21. Solana has 4. Let's talk about Arbitrum has 1, by the way. Big popular chain right now has 1. How many validators on Phantom? 68. I'm sorry, 69.
Nice.
And then those are the most popular chains.
Nice.
And then you're looking at Avalanche. It's 1,200. It's 1,200 active ones. Of course, it's not Ethereum size. We're not aged like Ethereum, and you again have to compare it. If we're going to compare it with the big dog of Ethereum, look at the TPS, and look at what AVAX can handle on its own. And I think it really does actually stand out from any other chain on any other, like just any other chain. It truly is a success story of blockchain by itself, of being actually decentralized, actually fast. It can actually take throughput that many users can be doing the same thing. And with subnets, it will go up astronomically on how efficient it is. With subnets engaging with these, okay, that's a good one as well. Polygon 100. I mean, we can keep going all day, but there is no other decentralized chain like Avalanche. Not that I've seen, not definitely in the top 10. And so it just goes to show you that Avalanche is here to play in 2023 with these massive partnerships.
So to piggyback off that, yeah, Ethereum's got a shit ton of validators. They've been around longer. That's fine. But fun fact, 60% of staked Ethereum is sitting with 4 entities. Those 4 being, let's see here.
It's very true as well.
30% is owned by Lido Finance, 15% by Coinbase, 8% by Kraken, and 7% by Binance.
So 3 of the 4 are exchanges.
Centralized exchanges. That's insane. Compared to AVAX, that number is 50 nodes. 50 of the validators control 50% of the staked AVAX. Out of how many?
Out of 1,200.
So 1,150 own the other 50%.
That's still a much bigger.
That's a good number.
Yeah, that's good. A much better distribution.
I mean, obviously, institutions are going to come in. We want that because it does offer a certain level of security. It offers a certain level of comfort. Because some validator from a mom and pop shop may go down because they can't keep with the upkeep. They can do malicious actions, a lot of other things. It's good that institutions are buying in, but we do want to disperse that. And as Avalanche matures, that number is going to go up. And so to know that your Avalanche your Avalanche validator has real use case, and it's really doing something special for decentralized finance. There's a reason that I'm a maxi. I know I talk shit all the time, but there's verifiable evidence of why I actually pick Avalanche over other chains, and I think it's an excellent chain. And if you're not using it, I'm sorry.
And all this, and we didn't even touch on the gaming aspect of Avalanche and what's being built there and the partnerships being formed there.
They actually have AAA studios developing right now. They just released that on a Twitter Spaces that I listened to. That they have a subnet that's getting dedicated to a AAA game that's an actual first-person shooter that's running on-chain. So
MetaOps
really cool.
is the gaming studio. MetaOps Studio. I'm excited about that one. I made a thread about it the other day about how Web3 gaming, and this applies to almost every good Web3 gaming, it feels like the soul of gaming's come back to me. It's not about fancy fucking graphics. It's not about all the shit you can put on your characters, all the guns or all the swords or all that shit you can unlock. Gaming used to just be about having fun with your friends. And I think Web3 gaming could be a renaissance of sorts for that, which is a breath of fresh air. I play a lot of newer games, and you're bogged down by fucking microtransactions, and can you see somebody wearing something cool, and you're like, oh, I wonder
how
how
do you
you
unlock
unlock that.
You gotta buy
You
it.
gotta fucking buy it. I mean, what good is that, man? I mean, it used to be about grinding it out and having fun, and it just feels like that's coming back. Going into those Discord servers like Magic World and stuff like that. I mean, it just feels like gaming.
I've actually been I want to release a game. I've been doing some game development. It's probably way far away. But if I did it, I think the best way to do it is actually sell keys to the game via NFTs, so you get real ownership of the game. And it's going to be a top-down RPG style. It's going to be something simple, but I'll sell it for maybe 1 or 2 AVAX, and you get ownership of the game. And I don't think I'll reveal the source code for that, obviously, so nobody can distribute it. But allowing access to games like that, I think, is also a great way to use the blockchain. So, in my opinion, I think that could be a really cool thing. I've also talked about releasing a 3D asset store, which is not currently on blockchain. That would be really cool, and a very good way to have transactional volume on some kind of platform. I think that would be really cool. So there's a lot of capabilities for gaming that hasn't been touched.
Yep. A lot.
There's a lot to be excited about with Avalanche and Web3 gaming in general.
I like it a lot.
I do too.
Do you want to jump into some weekly Frozen Walrus update?
Yep. Obviously a lot of the focus still being on Glacier as it grows, and we're getting very far. We had a meeting with Ava Labs that went really, really well. I'm actually very happy about it. And then with Frozen Walrus specifically, we have a large percentage of Walrus being burned and a very large percentage being locked in the X Walrus contract. I think it's a massive amount of work being done by the community to get this much walrus off the market. And I just hope that they see the benefits of it quite soon. I'm excited because there's so much locked. And I'm just excited to see what happens when we do liquidity migrations and other things.
Sounds good. In general DeFi news, I only have a few topics because obviously it's the AVAX show, so I didn't want to keep it AVAX centric. But the first one was about the address poisoning scam, which is going on. MetaMask released an urgent warning about address poisoning. If you hear about that floating around, basically what that is scammers are making DeFi wallets that they go on and find high value target wallets to target, and they make a wallet with a very similar starting and ending address, and then they'll spam your wallet with a bunch of tiny transactions, USDT or USDC, other popular tokens, and they will hopefully, what they're hoping you do is when you go to make a transaction, you copy your wallet address from the recent transactions, and the one you copy is one of these spoofed addresses. So instead of sending crypto to yourself, you end up sending it to them. If you use the little copy button on the MetaMask account page, then you don't have to worry about that. It's only if you use...
I also do transfer between accounts, which is done by MetaMask. That works very well for me. I'm pretty sure it's in the same wheelhouse, but it allows you to only use the accounts that are listed on your MetaMask.
Yes, copy right from MetaMask. Do not copy from public transaction logs.
Like DBank.
Or even the transaction log within your MetaMask, right? Because that's where it's going to show up. It's going to show up that you did that. Dino Drums. Can you break down how Glacier will affect Walrus getting back to peg? Probably a good AMA question, I think, right?
Yeah, but
We
I
have
can
one
briefly
tomorrow.
touch on it. Yeah, we have an AMA tomorrow, but Dino, if you want to tune in tomorrow, I'll answer this question. I usually do most of them. I've talked about it extensively, but realistically, what we're looking at is a reduction of the walrus supply and a bottleneck of the supply via X Walrus, which has been very successful. And then after Glacier launches, we will migrate our liquidity to only host it via Glacier, where you'll also get Glacier emissions, which is a huge boost. And obviously, with the success of Glacier, if it is a huge success, more eyes will be on that platform where they're wanting to arbitrage all of the different APRs. So there's a bit of validity to that, obviously, as people migrate money around in the platform. And then obviously, if you want to convert into X Walrus, you'll be able to use your X Walrus USDC.E and stake it into a farm to earn off of the trading fees of both Walrus and X Walrus on the platform. And so, what I want to see is a migration of a lower liquidity walrus situation where it's very easy to peg consistently, but the most value you get brought is by being able to convert into X walrus, which is ever increasing in value. And over time, it makes for a great sink of the token supply. And with all these other things that I've just listed, hopefully it spirals into a healthy loop of people wanting to get into X Walrus and stake for it, and via that they're going to be trading for it. And if they have to trade for it, then there's going to be fees involved. So it's kind of a flywheel effect that we have to make happen. By no means am I promising that we'll get back to peg. This is a gnarly beast, and eventually we want to take out the peg mechanic, but it's going to take a lot of thought. So that's what I have on the table right now. So again, I can talk more in detail about it during our AMA, but we try and keep this central to no questions about Frozen Wars specifically. But very good question, regardless.
Absolutely. And I'm sure you'll go into further detail tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern.
That's right.
I'm going to skip one and then I'll go back to it. Miss Universe rocking the Bitcoin uniform at the El Salvador Miss Universe rocked a giant Bitcoin uniform and giant Bitcoin staff during the Miss Universe pageant. Because El Salvador is known, of course, they have Bitcoin is one of their native currencies, and they're big on it. Their government's buying it. She got what?
She probably got a bag for wearing that.
Hey man, I mean that's her job, right? That's her.
I'm sending it to you in the chat. If we could get Jamie to pull that up.
Yeah, I'll have to be
Pretty good
Jamie
costume.
until we hire to Jamie.
Oh, here's a.
God damn it, Disco! You're supposed to be Jamie.
There, I'm sharing it.
Sharing it on what? I don't see it.
Now there it is.
Nice. So that's what she wore.
Yeah, the big old Bitcoin staff. Let folks know about the current X Walrus.
We will tomorrow at the AMA.
Let me tell you about X Walrus, all right? We're going to X all the Walrus chat, all right?
Till tomorrow at 7 p.m.
Walrus
Eastern.
Radio. We talk all things crypto for all people. It's the world's greatest crypto podcast.
It is.
Some people don't know
until somebody
that
comes
yet.
on here and says otherwise. But you have
It's
to
a
debate me on the show.
giant BTC costume. It's on AVAX. It is on AVAX. As well as Vinium. Show sponsor, Vinium.finance.
That's right.
So yeah,
Which,
El
you know
Salvador is.
If you're looking for fun things to do with your Vinium, you can take AVAX, which you're obviously super long on if you're listening to this show, put it into SAVAX on Benki, and then put that SAVAX on Vinium and borrow against it. So you get the 8% or whatever AVAX appreciation plus whatever you want to do with that money you borrow. The other bit of news I have, which is a good thing to think about. It is we live in uncertain times, and you never know what's going to happen. You know, you don't know if that Big Mac is going to get you,
This sounds
or
like a commercial that comes on Fox News.
if World War III is going to happen. You just don't know. You don't know. If some idiot driver is going to T-bone you tomorrow, is your DeFi wallet ready for your death? Crypto lawyers suggest including highly detailed instruction in one's will and appointing a crypto-savvy next of kin, among other suggestions. Now, I wouldn't put your keys in your will, but maybe a way to get to those.
Physical access to the keys locked somewhere where you have designated directions for someone. Like obviously Dylan will be in my will to get all these crypto assets to give to my family. All my stuff is pretty much listed, and obviously it's actually on my desk here. So anybody that has access to my house has access to my crypto. So there's a fun fact for you.
Fun fact: break into Austin's house and get
break into my house.
a whole treasury. Do you know who your children are?
He ain't. It sounded, the way you framed that sounded just like a Fox News commercial.
Oh,
My
I had to put it
grandma
up.
asked me that the other day. She said, "Do you not watch the news?" And I said, "Why would I?" They're on like just straight up. The news cycle is just gotcha clickbait, constantly just cycling death and how awful America is and how awful everywhere else in the world is. I mean, I would just ball up if I see that. And it's
Yeah,
just not worth it.
TikTok. I know you don't do TikTok, Austin, but TikTok is the place for news. I'll tell you, because when Ukraine and Russia just got into it, we had the ghost of Kyiv, the Ukrainian fighter
Butchered
jet
it.
pilot who's going around just like slaughtering Russian planes. Like he was just taking them out of the skies, right? And so like there was tons of TikToks with just all kinds of like clips of him knocking people out, and half of them were like from like DCS, which is like a flight simulator game, like hyper realistic. But dude, like the guy became like a legend, right? Just through TikTok. Look it up.
Let me tell you
Ghost of
something about TikTok
Kyiv.
with my kids, man. It's YouTube Shorts and TikToks, all this short form content. I started noticing an effect on them. My daughter was wanting to watch a movie, a funny movie, and she puts it on and she starts scrolling through for the funny parts. And the impatience that it started to evolve into for users that use these platforms, like they're wanting the gratifying content that happens like from the buildup of all this stuff, the culmination of how film is made, where it's a setup for hours and then a joke or whatever else it is. It's like it's being ruined, and I think that movies are going to start becoming short form content eventually, and you'll be going to the movie theater for a 10-minute movie. Otherwise, people would be walking out because there's no way you'd ever watch a 3-hour movie.
Oh,
Dylan, you remember that movie Roses? The Roses movie that's like 3 VHSs long. It's like 7 hours. It's called Rose something.
y'all remember Gettysburg?
It might be Stephen King, Dylan. It's a scary movie.
I remember. Hold on.
Do you guys Gettysburg on VHS? That was like 3 tapes.
That's
2
what
or
I'm
3
saying.
tapes.
Like they're used to
Rose Red.
Rose Red, and all that content wouldn't survive in today's time because nobody has the attention span anymore because of the
No.
short form content wave.
It has a place, but it is limited, right? You don't
It
have
has
this.
a place where it's not forefront, and I think that it's going to end up affecting a lot of people because people are wanting everything like right now, and that's the only gratification, and any kind of long form doesn't have that gratification.
Kids are always like that. I mean, SpongeBob episodes had to be 2 episodes in one 30-minute block, among many other shows.
I mean, you're right. Of course, it's been changing for quite some time.
Damn right, I'm right.
But yeah, I had to say my piece about
Gettysburg, 254 minutes. I don't know how many tapes it was. 2 tapes.
Vine is coming back. Vine was the death of modern day kids here.
Vine was OG TikTok.
Vine was better.
Man, that's where
if you could be funny in 6 seconds, you were funny.
It was easier. You know what I liked about Vine? Like just from a creator perspective, like it was much easier to partake in Vine with your buddies. You're sitting around the campfire and you're like, I got a Vine idea. It was so much easier to just do that. Boop, boop, boop. Much easier to record and release that content. TikTok, it's too many tools. Like it's like, oh, you gotta do this and this, and you gotta do this, and you can do it on the computer. You can edit it. It was like it's too much. It's too much editing power for what a
fucking
TikTok
boomers?
is supposed to be.
Are we boomers?
We're moomers.
We're
I'm
like
a moomer.
we're like hating on new stuff that the
You are
kids use,
boomers.
and it's like
You're very much boomer.
I love TikTok. I just hate how complicated they made. It's too hard. How do I get into this tablet? Like it's swiping. No.
how do I install the son of a bitch?
How do I TikTok? I have my clock.
Show you my TikTok.
We
Probably
can do.
should be repeated.
What the fuck is wrong with you two? Jesus Christ. We're gonna lose viewers. We're trying to
No, we're not.
We're trying to entice the 18 to 24-year-old audience. We have 0% of them.
Yeah. It's like,
And you guys are shitting on TikTok. What are you doing?
We have a TikTok. It's at Walrus Radio. We
No
don't have any.
shit.
We don't have any good content on it, but we have it.
I didn't know that. I got off TikTok.
It's also like it's just my personal TikTok that like I converted into the Walrus Radio one, so it's got
that
like
makes sense.
it's got some Thanksgiving ones on there. Hey, check it out. My friend's 6-year-old unlocked her phone with her sleeping face and made like 30 TikToks. That's classic, dude. Fortnite and
That is
TikTok 24/7.
I will never play Fortnite again. I cannot get into it. I've never been interested in MOBAs.
The problem I had with Fortnite when I played it was before the whole no build mode or whatever. But you would shoot somebody and like immediately a 4-star Hilton Select like New York skyscraper would pop up, and it's like I can't play this game.
Advertised as like a co-op tower building game where like there was waves of enemies.
Are you serious? It wasn't
Yeah.
Battle Royale.
They introduced Battle Royale after the success of PUBG, and then PUBG wasn't on Xbox, but Fortnite was on Xbox, so it got very popular very quick.
Yeah.
So PUBG fucked themselves over.
It's similar to Minecraft. Like Minecraft before it got popular, I had it downloaded. I was one of the first 600,000 people to download
Alpha.
Yep.
Minecraft Alpha. When
Never
you had to
got
go on
into
a
Minecraft
Wikipedia to get every single recipe, to even know you could make a door, you had to be in the Wikipedia page, like digging, like researching, like you had a final the next day.
There was no nether. There was only like 2 or 3
It was nothing.
types. Yeah, it was nothing.
It was like zombies, skeletons, and spiders.
Yep.
And cows and pigs. Like that was it. And you had to kill the sheep to get your wool. Back in my day, to kill the sheep to get the wool, you're gonna use shears. You got soft hands. I don't have any more news topics, so we're just having fun now. By the way, so, but I'm enjoying it. I mean, Jesus,
we're boomers.
We're a more human crypto podcast. You're not gonna hear. I mean, I could do this. Like, you tell me what you prefer. You know, let me just pull up something here. I'll give you an example of what makes Walrus Radio better than every other crypto podcast. Gary Gensler finds new audience for his crypto skepticism. The U.S. Army. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission chair called crypto the Wild West and urged troops not to get caught up in the FOMO. United States Securities and Exchange Commissioner Chair Gary Gensler has found a new audience for his crypto skeptics. On January 11th, the U.S. Army hosted its first Twitter Spaces of 2023 with Gensler and SEC. You see how fucking boring that is?
I'm mad though. I'm already mad, and it's not even because of the content of the article. God,
how do you feel about Gary Gensler?
He's almost gone. He's not got much longer. God damn, I hope he does not have much longer. He can't be around much longer. I mean, there's
absolutely nobody in the current climate that we have that will ever come in and do anything meaningful at this point. We're a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm telling you, no position of power will ever be able to move the cogs in a way that is effective for like modern day retail users like me and you. It's just not going to happen.
I tell you, you got to get him to Applebee's.
I'll fight Gary Gensler.
Take
What do you
him to
think?
Chili's.
What do you think Gary would get at Applebee's?
He looks like a salad guy.
You think he's a 2 for $20 kind of guy?
Crypt
It's a
keeper
6
looking
It's a
motherfucker.
6-ounce sirloin with some of their fucking. I don't know what size Applebee's has.
You get it
anymore.
medium rare, they're like, you can't do that.
No, he doesn't get it. He doesn't get it medium rare. He definitely gets it well done. That
You know,
motherfucker's eating well done leather.
Fucking,
Yeah,
I hate
this is not about my opinions of Trump, but Trump does order steaks well done and puts ketchup on them.
Oh my god, he lost.
oh, that is.
Yeah, like this is not political. This is just about the steaks.
As a human being, that's disgusting.
Fucking gross.
Back when I worked at FedEx, we had a manager. He was like a couple positions higher than me, and we had to cook.
Like when your
meals.
steak has dandruff coming off it when you cut it, like in the middle, you know it's way too much.
It's crusty.
It
But
should
we
still
had
have
a-
that red protein shit coming out of it.
We had a manager that would prep we'd have to prep like 80 steaks for our entire center, and he constantly talked about his potatoes and steak, and the potatoes were, I swear to God, just mashed up peeled potatoes that had some light pepper and salt in them, and he called them his special potatoes, and they
Special
were, they were as basic
Hold
as
on.
it came. But then here's what he did with his steaks. He marinated our steaks with fucking ketchup. We just put
I've actually-
batches of it in ketchup.
I have actually heard that. I saw somebody. Actually, it was Meat Church. Meat Church was talking about that not too long ago. I was watching one.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I was
Meat
watching
Talk
Meat.
is back on Walrus
We're
Radio.
boomers. I mean, we smoke meat. We fucking talk about meat. Boomers love meat, man. We're boomers. But yeah, I actually saw that somebody was talking about putting ketchup on a steak as a marinade, and they were like, "No, this is stupid." And then
I
they
mean,
tried
it's
it. They're like,
salt. It's
Yeah.
like salt and vinegar. Like I get it. Like that doesn't.
You don't
if
taste
you put
the
it on
steak.
after. If you put
Then
the
I have a
ketchup on
problem.
after you cook it, like that's like you do pre-steak, you can get into some weird shit like pre-cooking. You ever done steak tartare?
No.
I kind of want to try it. I almost tried it and I pussied out. Which is like it's basically a raw steak, and then they sear the outside for like a second, and then they chop it up and then put an egg on top of it.
Ooh, I do love
Cold.
steak and eggs.
It's like some
Fuck.
fancy meal from like the Mad Men times that they were bringing back.
I fucking love steak and eggs.
And sugars. Disco's a big fan of the tart. This is why we need Disco. See how active Disco is in the chat. He should be the Jamie.
Jamie,
Sweet
pull that up.
meats. Jamie, pull up the tartar pictures.
Pull up some tartar.
Tuna tartar. Have you had tuna tartar? That's a sushi type. Bunch of raw tuna on some guacamole. And maybe some cilantro. Ooh, so good. Pull that up. It's good. He says it's good. Tartar, like which tartar, Disco? Tuna or steak?
We need to bring Chuck on
Like I said, he should be the Jamie.
as a guest. Lettuce too.
He could be the fourth wheel.
Lettuce, come on the NFT show.
You're doing it tomorrow.
Yeah, we are.
You're driving a package car. You can run the computer from a car. I don't know.
Breaking
Falling
news.
sick every
breaking
Thursday.
news. Lisa Marie Presley has died after suffering a cardiac arrest earlier today. Former wife of Elvis Presley.
Dang.
R.I.P.
Real one.
That's very sad.
All right, boys. What are you thinking? We gonna wrap this?
I'm ready to wrap.
Wrap it up.
All right. So obviously we had the AVAX show today. We didn't have a guest. We'll be back tomorrow, right? We're gonna be doing the NFT show. We got some.
Oh,
fun
excuse
stuff
me.
to
She's
talk
the
about.
daughter of Elvis.
The daughter of Elvis. Okay.
The daughter of Elvis. So she's only 54. Jesus Christ.
They die young in the Presley family.
They really do, because her son, her daughter, Riley, passed away last year.
Oh shit, we have a
Golly.
mailbag. Let us
Yes.
put in a mailbag. What's the best part about dating a homeless person? You can drop them off anywhere. So when you're done with your 2 for $20, and whatever that'll get you,
Date you a
perks
homeless girl.
wise, like, let me drive you home. Get out. Speaking of get out, all you get out. Special thanks to my amazing co-host. By the way, ineffable, which I used in the intro, is actually an adjective that can be good or bad. It just means that you cannot describe it with words. It could be so horrific that you can't describe it, or so beautiful and amazing that you cannot describe it with words.
And
Ineffable.
Austin used obfuscate tonight, which is a nice word.
That's a good one.
Obfuscate. That was a good word. I meant to mention that earlier, Austin, and I'm proud of you. That's a good word.
Obfuscate. That's like 3.5 syllables.
It's enough.
It's enough.
for me.
That'll put ketchup on your steak. I gotta get back to my notes. Who wrote these notes? Be sure to check out none of that. We have a link for show sponsors in our show description. And if you're watching on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcast platform, be sure to go back, check out previous episodes, and tell all your friends about why this podcast is not like your regular podcast, and because they're going to be like, oh, I don't like podcasts, they're boring as fuck. You just link them this episode. This is going to go down as one of the greats. And when they teach podcasting 101 at your community college, this is going to be keynote.
At 101.
We got the NFT show tomorrow, and you can hop in for that. You can send show and special guest ideas to WLRSradioinfo@gmail.com. And if you'd like to purchase ad space or sponsor a show, you can send inquiries to WLRSradio.info@gmail.com. Thank you, everybody. Inconceivable.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night.